Next up, at UFC Jacksonville, we have Tatsuro Taira taking on Kleydson Rodrigues. Tatsuro Taira is undefeated in his career. He's 13-0, and he has 11 finish, and he's taking on Kleydson Rodrigues. 8-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that quick knockout win over Shannon Ross. Tatsuro Taira is right now an incredible prospect, right? He's the #1 ranked flyweight in Japan. He's still super young at 23 years old. He's got 13 fights, 11 finishes. He's a patient striker on his feet. He's got some decent power in his hands. He's got really strong grappling as well. He does not have the best takedowns, but he's going to stick with them. He's going to drag you to the ground. He's going to work real hard and keep coming. He's coming off that submission win over Jesus Aguilar. He's taking on Kleydson Rodrigues, though, and that would explain the line movement here because Klaydson's a really well-rounded prospect himself. He's got a ton of potential, very versatile striking. He mixes in kicks really well. He has power in his hands. Sometimes his punches can be a bit telegraphed, but it doesn't matter because if it connects, there's a whole bunch of power there. Takedown defense, 6 out of 66%. His takedown offense is sort of a miserable 25% on paper, but if you watch him shoot takedowns, they're actually pretty clean and they look solid. When he's on top, he does a really good job of establishing position and then striking from there. If he is on bottom, he doesn't work as much as you'd like to see him, though, but he's coming off that knockout win over Shannon Ross. I think Tatsuro Taira wins this fight. I think he is a valuable prospect. I think if he gets it to the ground, he's going to have a very large advantage there. I think he can work hard enough to stay alive, and I think he can dog in some of these scrambles. With all that being said, he should not be in your parlays. The amount of comments I have seen this week on Tatsuro Taira, guaranteed Tatsuro Taira should be in the parlays, is just... I just don't see that. Kleydson Rodrigues, and it's not a knock against Taira. Kleydson Rodrigues is very, very, very good. He's got powerful hands, good enough jiu-jitsu to not get submitted, and he's going to keep coming forward. So I'm going to pick Taira here. I think he can get the takedowns, and I think the gap on the ground is super wide. But Kleydson Rodrigues is one of the more live dogs on this card. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm going to take it a little bit further than where you took it because... when I was breaking down this fight, and let me just say, I don't give a fuck about the odds. I literally don't care about odds. I don't look at odds. I don't look at it until I am finished breaking down a fight and I pick a fighter. Then I'll look at the odds, and that's how I go about my betting and stuff. So when I'm picking fights and I'm looking at fights, I don't care about the odds. When I broke down this fight, I thought, oh, Klaydson's going to win this fight. Because, and I'll tell you the reasons are. Let's start with Tatsuro. Tatsuro, very talented grappler. Super, super talented grappler. If he gets the back of Kleydson, submits him, I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not gonna be like, oh, he can't submit. I'm not gonna be surprised if that happens. But the deficiency I see with him is his offensive wrestling is not as good as people claim it to be. His defensive wrestling is not very good at all. He can lose scrambles. He's not this. He's not like Mackenzie Dern. If Mackenzie Dern goes on the ground, you're never going to see her out of position, right? At her level, in her division, she's never going to be out of position in a fight because she is high level. Tatsuro is a high level guy, but he can't get out scrambled. You saw against Carlos. He was taken down. Even when he had Carlos in a body triangle, he was reversed. He was on the bottom in those situations. So he's not this invincible grappler that people portray him to be. And on the feet, this guy likes to stay clean. He does not like to get hit. He's a decent striker, but a lot of it is keep the distance with kicks, with long punches, stay out of range, because he likes to shoot from the outside. He likes those explosive shots. He's not in a clinch position, then drop into a single. He likes to be explosive with his takedown, so he likes that distance. Kleydson does not really give people distance. He likes to be in your face. He's a young kid, a very fast, dynamic striker. He trusts his scrambling abilities, maybe too much in this fight, but he trusts his scrambling abilities. Obviously, against CJ, he was on his back a little bit too much, but you can see in other fights and stuff, he knows what he's doing on the ground. So, long story short, I think Tatsuro is in big, big trouble on the feet because once Kleydson has you hurt or thinks he has you hurt, he will just swarm you. And I think Tatsuro, when he's trying to panic wrestle, is not going to be as effective when he's at distance, controlling the pace, controlling the range, and timing those takedowns. If you get in his face, I don't think that his wrestling is going to be that effective. And if he can't wrestle, he is absolutely fucked in this matchup. So when I broke down this fight, I thought, Klaydson's going to win this fight. I don't care what the odds say. I still think he can get this done. So I'm sticking with Kleydson. He's a great young kid. And that's nothing against Tatsuro. If it goes to the ground, he obviously is very, very live there. But, Kleydson is that dude different. That dude different.
I don't disagree with a single thing you said. The only reason I ended up picking Tatsuro is because I do think it will get to the ground. We talked about neither one of them have good takedown defense. Neither one of them. Obviously, Kleidson's is actually statistically a little better than Taira's, but that's because people aren't even trying to take Taira down. So the people who are doing it and doing it somewhat well. So I only picked Taira because I think the gap on the ground is wide, like very wide. But to your point, Kleydson is a very live underdog. He's phenomenally priced in DraftKings if you're going to go that route. And the line movement tells us that a lot of people are thinking like Jacob here. A lot of people saw those odds and were like, no, absolutely not. Dude's 23, fighting a young killer. This could go any possible way. So
yeah, Tatsuro, I mean, he's one of those guys, and I say it a lot of time when I watch people fight, it feels like they like everything clean. Even the grappling, they like it clean. It just seems like a clean fighter. And when you run into somebody and you turn into a nail, those clean fighters could be an issue. Well,
and he finished CJ Vergara, but CJ gave him a hell of a run. He had that issue with that kid from Connecticut too. So Carlos. It's not like Taira's not blowing through people. He's in fights, and yes, he's getting the wins, and he finished CJ, but watch that fight. His takedown attempts were getting desperate towards the end of that fight.
Right, and I'm not saying it can't happen, but people are acting like he's just takedown, submission, under 2 minutes, easy peasy, like Kleydson has no idea what he's doing. So, and I'll probably jinx, that's probably exactly what's going to happen now. But
I mean, I've picked Taira because I do think the skill gap on the ground is pretty wide, but he's not in the safety parlay. I'll tell you that right now. He's definitely not in the safety parlay. And I've seen a lot of comments that their parlays are like, oh, Ilya, Taira, and Tafa. First of all, don't throw a heavyweight in your parlays. Second of all, I wouldn't put Tatsuro Taira on this parlay either. So anyway, if you want to check out that safety parlay, it hits at a 72% clip and it's available to premium members only. We've hit eight out of the last 10 We on Picks.com. It's only $10 a month. I'm obviously not going to spend the $9,400 on Taira in DraftKings. You're not as well. Are you going to spend the $6,800? I mean, you think he wins, so.
I think in multi-entry, you got to have him in a few. I don't know if I'm going to put him in mine or not, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
And if you want to learn more about multi-entry, single-entry, cash games, GPP, that is all in the course for premium members available now at weonpicks.com.